Ladies, gentlemen, and young bowlers from around the world, my name is Don Agent, and I will be your host this week on the Kegel Show. And with us for this week's episode is a legend in the industry, a good friend of mine, Mike Judy, who is a North American sales manager for Ebonite. Mike, thank you so much for coming
Man,
down.
it's an honor to be here. Thanks for having me.
We've been talking about it. We haven't been able to get you in the schedule, and as we talk, we're going to find out why, because I know you're very, very, very busy.
We travel a lot.
Yes, and coming back off the trade show swings, and actually, you've still got more up in the mix.
Yep, we've got a couple more to do, finishing up here in 2 weeks, and it's a crazy schedule.
Unbelievable. How long have you been involved in bowling, and what got you started? I always like to start out with, especially with a guy like you, because you've been in this industry.
Well, I've been in the industry for about 15 years, but I grew up a bowler. I grew up, as a matter of fact, I started bowling Western Bowl, Cincinnati, Ohio. There's actually a little tournament there called the Hoinky Classic. That was in my backyard. I literally graduated high school about a mile from there. So I grew up hanging out in Western Bowl, kept score. Back with the wax, with the wax pencil. Remember the day?
Telescores.
Yeah, the telescores and everything. So kept score. Bowled collegiately for Wright State. We actually started a team back in the 90s, early 90s. Kind of show my age a little bit. Bowled collegiately for a while, and then I just bowled league after that. But I always found myself going back to bowling. I really love the sport. I love the industry. I was in sales, but I sold manufacturing equipment. That's kind of came out of college with an engineering degree. Then went to work selling manufacturing equipment. Outside sales, your schedule's pretty flexible, and my lunchtime was always spent in a pro shop somewhere. I was always trying to figure out what the new equipment was, bugging the pro shop guy, what makes a ball do it, what makes it hook, why do you drill it this way? I wanted to know more and more about it, and I started coaching on the side, kind of as a side gig. Got involved with our local USBC association. Back then it was ABC.
Oh yeah.
Kind of did that for a while, became president, local association, so had that history. Just loved being in the sport, loved being around it. I kind of stumbled into the industry in a way. I went to super school, Middletown, Ohio, one year.
Okay.
And one of the coaches, you might know him, Del Warren.
Shocker.
He was paired up with me. I was in Del's group. And Del and I just kind of hit it off. We talked a lot, and Del's a great guy. He's a mentor of mine. He kind of, he's very passionate about the sport as well too, as you know. And I kept bugging him. I'm like, Del, I want in the industry. I want to, I'm in sales. How cool would it be if I could get a sales job in the industry? So after the super school, I just kind of kept bugging Del. Del, I need a job. Give me a job. I want to get in the industry.
And who was he with then?
He was with Track.
Okay.
He was with Track and Columbia Industries when Track and Columbia 300 were down in San Antonio.
Gotcha.
So eventually, I bugged him enough that he hired me. He gave me a shot. I was a Track district sales manager for 2 years working for Del. I had 17 states.
Wow.
Covered the whole central United States. And then 2 years went by, and Ebonite International purchased Columbia Industries. So that was a change. I'm doing my thing, and all of a sudden we get bought. Wow. So had to start the interview process all over again with Ebonite International, and thankfully they hired me on. They only kept 3 people on when they made the transfer.
Really?
Yeah. So a little known fact, myself was one of them. Sean Morris was the other.
Oh, yeah.
Been in the industry for a long time. He's one of our sales guys. Today, still, he works for us out of Chicago. And then one other guy, still in the industry. Any idea? Still lives in Texas.
Rich?
No. Rich is with us. He wasn't with Columbia Industries back in the day. Pretty popular guy.
Oh God, you're killing me now.
Columbia 300. Columbia 300 brand manager. Trivia.
Big time.
Chad Murphy.
Chad Murphy.
Chad Murphy. Yep. So there were 3 people were kept.
In my defense, I thought you meant he was still with Ebonite.
No. The 3 of us. So they kept the 3 of us on. Sean and myself are still there, and doing what we do today. So absolutely love it.
Mike was a really He's a big favorite of mine. That gentleman taught me a lot about this industry, especially from an international perspective.
He still lives there in Hopkinsville, and we see him all the time. He pops his nose in the office once in a while, and what a great guy.
So you've been with Ebonite literally 13 years since
they
took over track and all that.
Yeah.
How about some history, Ebonite? I mean, they've been around a long time.
1905. 1905 was when the company was started, so over 100 years. Let's see, 3 years ago, we celebrated our 50th year in Hopkinsville, Kentucky. So we've been in Hopkinsville, Kentucky for 50 years. So
I've been
there. It's a really cool place, and it's kind of like here. You come here and you see all the training stuff that happens and all the cool toys and gadgets, and you walk into our place and you see all the chemicals. The mad scientists in the back, mixing up the stuff, and you get to go out and just the smell of the urethane and the pouring of the balls and everything. It's just really cool.
This is one of my most enjoyable tours. In fact, that's been the only ball company I've ever got to tour.
Yeah.
I went up there specifically. Y'all had put in 4 lanes for the training.
Yeah, in our test center.
And you were actually going to do pro shop courses and all that stuff. That was just a magnificent.
Yeah, we do hold pro shop courses there. We do a lot of training. We bring our professional players in from time to time. We just had a PBA camp there not too long ago where we brought all of our pro staff in and, worked with them on their games, training, brought our tour reps in, just, kind of going that extra mile to try to make them as successful as they can be.
Absolutely. And sometimes I don't think, a lot of the industry understands behind the scenes that y'all do a lot of training, a lot of coaching.
A lot of training, a lot of coaching,
balls.
Right.
Exactly.
It's just not bowling balls.
Speaking about balls, how many you think you drill, or how many you think you sell a year, not drill?
So, I know that number. I can't give away too many secrets.
Didn't think about it.
But let's just say it's well over 500,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
That'll give you some feel for the velocity. So it's all of them are made in the United States, right out of Hopkinsville, Kentucky.
Do you guys only run one shift? Or
No, we're pretty much running around the clock right now. We're very, very busy. The industry is really strong right now. That's the other thing in traveling the country. The stuff that's going on with the PBA, we had Tom Clark talking earlier today, kind of giving us an update of what's going on. The industry is really booming right now, and it's exciting to see. We've seen a downturn. There's been a massive downturn for years, and it's kind of leveled off a little bit, but right now I think our industry is stronger than it's been probably in the 15 years that I've been in the industry.
I almost feel like we've gotten out of here and we're in a pretty good ride here.
For sure. The what's going on with the collegiate programs, youth bowling, junior gold. Part of my travel schedule was being involved with junior gold a couple weeks ago, and over 4,000 kids. Over 4,000 kids and their families up there to partake in bowling. Then you got what's going on with the collegiate programs. The college programs are growing. There's more and more colleges that are turning into out of club and into varsity type sports, and it's really exciting to see all that. It's taken some time. High school sports. Ohio's where I'm from is varsity sport now, and a lot of the states are switching over and true varsity sport recognition by a lot of the states.
Not to mention now, kids can actually now get scholarships and full paid rides to some pretty impressive schools.
Absolutely, it's great to see. My family bowls a little bit, but my son's a baseball player, and we travel around playing baseball all over the place.
Cool.
And I look at that, and at the end of a tournament, we win a tournament, we get a plastic trophy or a ribbon or a medal or something like that. But in bowling, you're actually earning scholarship money, and that is so cool. That's such a unique opportunity, and I hear a lot of young athletes coming out of high school with enough scholarship money to really put a dent in their college education, which is phenomenal.
That wasn't available when you and I were doing
it.
It wasn't even a letter sport or anything.
Right. Yeah.
What's the most enjoyable part about what you do?
Friends.
Cool
the people that we meet.
Well.
The people that you meet, the experiences on the road. That's in the 15 years that I've been on the road, traveling, meeting new people, pro shop guys, even competitors, and other manufacturers and other just people in the sport and in the industry. Those are lifelong friends. These are people that I consider true friends. These are people that I would do anything for. You know, I know that they would do the same for me. So it's that to me is special, and that's when you got the bowling bug, it's part of it.
Took
You know,
the words right out of my mouth on that one. I always like when we're traveling hard on these shows. I explain it best like a giant family reunion.
It is
for like 18 days. Now, I mean, do you get a chance to really throw the ball anymore?
Yeah, a little bit. Not nearly as much as I'd like to. You know, I do try to bowl league on Friday nights.
Okay.
You know, that's if there's one night of the week that I'm actually at home, it's probably Friday nights. You know, Friday or Saturday. So Friday nights I try to get, you know, league session in here or there. But if I get to 50 games a year in league, that's a lot. You know, it's about a third of a season, really.
You got me beat, and I'm going to try to accomplish that this year since I started bowling again.
Yeah.
Talking about your schedule, I mean, I understand part of it from the outside looking in and knowing you all these years. I mean, you got a pretty rigorous schedule.
Yep.
I mean, all of you guys do.
Yep.
How do you keep that balance between that and family life?
It certainly takes it takes a lot of work. That's for sure. And it also takes a pretty understanding family. You know, it's just glad the locks aren't changed on the front door, you know, when I come home sometimes because I've been gone so long, you know. But it's a balancing act, but sometimes you just got to shut it down, you know, when you go home.
One year with them, didn't you bring them out one year
Yeah,
for
yeah,
some
they've
shows?
gone on a couple shows with me in the past, but since, you know, my son with the baseball schedule, it makes it difficult now with his travel schedule. But yeah, they've been on the road with me before, and that's a unique opportunity too. My wife's a high school teacher, so she's off in the summer, and that allows her to potentially travel with me as well too. But that doesn't happen hardly anymore. Again, because we're all running 15 different directions, and you know, we have the Bowl Expo, like you mentioned. There's a week. You got all the distributor trade shows, Junior Gold, 12 days of Junior Gold. You got all the distributor trade shows. And that's just, you know, June and July.
Right.
June, July, and the first part of August. You get outside of that, we're doing seminars usually 2 times a year. So there's another 2-3 weeks on the road. I'm out with the district sales managers traveling, you know, spending time in their territories, going to see our key customers, our pro shops, and our distributors. So it's probably about 150 to 170 nights a year on the road. Yeah,
That's pretty hardcore.
yeah. So, and I live in Cincinnati still, so just north of Cincinnati. So when I'm not traveling, I usually go to the office. So those 150 days really don't count the time that I'm down in Kentucky. So I go to the office, and you know, it's so bad that I've got my own apartment in Hopkinsville.
I get it.
So, you know, when you're there that often, you might as well. It beats staying in a hotel.
Back in the late 90s when we opened up Kegel, Asia, I was there so much, John got me an apartment in the Philippines, so it was cheaper than a hotel.
Absolutely.
What are some of can you pick out a couple what's some of your favorite bowling related events or something that you've looked
You know,
forward to?
the trade shows are always fun. Junior Gold, working with the kids, you know, that event is really, really cool. To see the youth bowlers come in and see how excited they are to bowl, and you know, when they meet our professional bowlers that are there, that's really, really cool.
It's gotta be a highlight.
That's, you know, that's fun. The distributor trade shows, again, you know, I really enjoy doing these, again, because it's like you said, it's one big family reunion.
And we get to see our customers
Right,
direct,
right,
and get to spend
right.
some quality time.
That
with
face-to-face time is really, really good, and you know, that's to me is the people, back to the people, seeing the people, being out. I have to be behind a desk a fair amount with what I do, with planning and some of the other things that go on behind the scenes, but if I have my preference, I'm not behind the desk. I'm out on the road visiting people, you know. I'm not a desk person.
I get tired of the computer thing.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
want to turn wrenches or talk to people. That's essentially my deal. Director at large for the BBIA.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
What does that even mean? Well, it means you're on your last year of your term for BBIA. I was president last year, so this is kind of my last year being involved with BBIA. That organization is really unique. You know, it's an industry organization, and it's basically just the manufacturers and the distributors, and we come together to try to make bowling better for all of us. You know, it's a certain point in time, you know, our distributors are our customers. We have competitors that are a part of BBIA as well too. But sometimes you got to take your company hat off and do something for the better of bowling.
That's
you know?
exactly what that organization came off
Right.
to me, because I mean, everybody, we're part of that organization as well.
Right.
And you do have competitors, even
Right.
though we are friends, but
Right.
in the end, everybody goes to that platform and says, hey, let's do something great
Right.
for our industry. What are some of the benefits for membership on that?
Yeah, again, it's the networking. It's another opportunity to network. It's another opportunity to kind of open up the book and talk about things in the industry that you could change or fix or make better. There's always ways to get better and to improve. So it's the networking, it's the opportunity to make things better. Working together as an industry. When we leave those meetings and the convention and everything, we go back to being competitors. Yep. But you have to. There are certain times where you have to work together to make our industry what it is. Fully agree.
What outside of hitting August, what does the rest of your year look like? You're going to be able to back off?
Yeah, a little bit of backing off of travel, but now we're planning fall seminars, and we're into the start of next year already. 2020. We're looking at things and products and programs that get out into next year already. So we're getting well out in advance of that. I'm fortunate this year I get to go to La Raza down in Costa Rica. Nice. So that's we're sponsor of that tournament, which we have been for several years now. And one of the benefits is going down. We've actually put a team in. So you asked if I bowl, so I'm going to bowl that tournament,
for you, man.
Which will be fun.
Cool.
Been there a couple times, and that's always a great event. So we've got that on the mix, and I'm sure there'll be some more travel with some of the sales guys coming up too.
What is if you had to pick, what would be the next great thing you'd like to see happen within bowling?
That's an easy question. Bowling in the Olympics.
That's always my answer.
That having bowling in the Olympics would be a huge win for our sport, for our entire industry. It deserves to be there. I mean, there's no reason why it shouldn't be. Nothing against some of the other sports that are there, but it certainly deserves to be there. And with some of the increase in popularity with the PBA and the PWBA, we're getting more exposure now than we've ever gotten before. And I think our reality of that happening, is getting better. It's improving. I know there's been some efforts to really, go out and have a focused effort on getting into the Olympics, and that's going to continue.
I hope
but that's
so.
a big thing.
I know Kevin Dornberger and the WBA, the WTBA, when I was involved back then. I mean, they've always been very diligently working to try to make that happen. That was one of John Davis's dreams as well. And hopefully now also, you bring up the PBA, but also now we have a lot more tools that can be shown that it is not necessarily a game of chance as it has been perceived in the past. These people are this good, they are this accurate, and these environments are very challenging.
Use Inspecto as part of the PBA, telecast, and the ball path, and how, like you said, how accurate they truly are.
Absolutely.
And when they miss just a little bit, what the result could be. So it's kind of, a lot of people use the analogy that bowling's a lot like golf, except you can't see the bunkers, you can't see the hazards, and this is kind of bringing to light what those are and truly understanding it.
Absolutely. Last question I always ask: you got any advice for the youth?
Just follow your dreams. That's kind of what brought me to where I am today. I again passionate about bowling, love the sport. Kind of started down a different career path, and it just kept kind of bringing me in, and I was just following what I felt that I really, really wanted to do. So follow your dreams. You can accomplish anything if you really put your heart and mind and soul to it. So
I agree with that. I did the same thing. I followed mine. I'm glad I'm here. Glad to have you, buddy.
Absolutely, Don. I'm glad we finally got to do this.
Great to have you down, and I'm sure I'll be seeing you in travel soon coming up very soon.
Absolutely, no doubt, no doubt about that.
Ladies, gentlemen, kids, that's a wrap for today. Keep those wrenches turning, and have a wonderful day.